Hey man, welcome to Experiencing God with Hemp Meadows. I'm your host, Hemp Meadows. Hey man, the other day we had some fun when I was talking about the Ten Commandments and how nobody really knows the Ten Commandments. You've got to read them and review them and then go, oh yeah. But if I asked you, name me three Ten Commandments right now, could you do it? Could you do one, two, maybe three? After that, it gets a little vague and hazy, doesn't it? Well, maybe that has something to do with the way our society is going right now. If more people knew the Ten Commandments and lived by them. It's hard to live by them if you don't know them, right? And it's hard to know them if you don't read them and think about them. And it's not the kind of thing you really think about too much unless you're drawn to do it. Otherwise, you've always got something else to do besides sit down and think about the Ten Commandments. I mean, that's not weird, but it is a little wacky. Now, the reason why we're going to be talking about the Ten Commandments is because we're deep into this book, the first hour. And one of the things that it has you do is to memorize the Ten Commandments, 1 through 10. And maybe you can memorize 1, 2, and 3, but on a daily basis, if you just tucked one in your brain, in 10 days, you'd have them all memorized, particularly if you had a course of action to follow through with them. But one of the things that we had fun with the other day was that I talked about the fact that when Jesus came, he gave us the Great Commandment, which was where he encapsulated all 10 commandments into one, which was fantastic because nobody can live up to the 10 commandments. I think it's spectacular that God could take the entire universe of possibilities in terms of human relationship to himself, to God, and to society, and to one another. All three of those things are included within the Ten Commandments. The first four are for our relationship with him, and the last six is our relationship with each other. So you can kind of look at it that way, and it helps. But it's all of society is built around the Ten Commandments. In Western civilization, that's what we built our civilization, and our whole legal system was on the Old Testament Judeo-Christian relationship with each other because Christ came to fulfill the law. And so he took these 10 commandments and turned them into one commandment, which was the Great Commandment. And I was trying to quote it the other day, and I did a horrible job. If you go back and listen to it, you'll get a kick out of it because it wasn't very good. So I had to look it up, and here it is, right here. He said, all of the law is contained within this. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. The second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. No other commandment is greater than these. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength. Don't you love it? Your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength. When you sit down and you try to imagine what is my heart versus what is my soul versus what is my mind, those are three different things that Christ calls out. If he's calling out mind and heart and soul, what are the composites? What are the three compositions of heart, mind, and soul? Because they're distinct and they're different, but they work together. And then he says, with all your strength. Okay, that's obviously very, very powerful. So we don't do that. We don't even know what our heart and our soul and our mind is telling us, let alone to love God with all of our strength. Most of us love God to some degree, but it's not very advanced, and we don't think about it very often. So he's saying this is the great commandment. And the second one then is equally as important, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. No other commandment is greater than these. So that's the great commandment. Now, it's important to know that because if we can just do those two things, and I'm telling you what, it's impossible. I have a neighbor that I avoid, and I've had to go through some changes because I don't like her. I think she's nuts, frankly, and she's crazy, and she's the kind of person that can just flip around on you. makes it very unsettling and says things that are mean and hateful and are frankly narcissistic and sociopathic. Other than that, she's a very, very nice lady. But you know, I could give you an example that you would find astonishing, actually, in the way that she treated me. So it's not easy for me to be around her. I don't want to be around her. And for a while, I kind of sulked when I saw her because I felt like, you know, on top of all the other things, she does a lot of other stuff around the building from different times that, you know, is really selfish and thoughtless. Piggish, I might say. So anyway, we've been having this, you know, avoidance thing. Fortunately, I hardly ever run into her, but then I realized I'm supposed to put away my bad feelings for everybody. She's not an enemy, okay? I do believe that she's possessed by a demonic spirit, but, you know, so there's the potential clash there. I would rather just, you know, not ever encounter her, but, you know, I know that God puts people in your life in order for you to be able to come to grips with it and to know how to handle them and yourself within any kind of a situation that comes up, because it's going to come up. If you keep advancing in the kingdom, you're going to come in contact with more and more people, and you're going to see the same type of people over and over again. So this is one of the things that we want to pray about, and there's a prayer actually in this book about that very subject. At least it's the topic of one of the prayers. So this is a powerful, powerful book. The first hour, give your first hour of your day to God. I guarantee you it will transform your life. Hey, this is Hemp Meadows. You are a mighty man of valor on the path of leadership. Hope this is a little motivation for you. We're all on that path together, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.